My name is Mary Beth Downing, and I'm a realtor in Southwest Ohio. I serve both the Dayton and Cincinnati areas. Typically, I work with investors both locally and out of state. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the difference between A and B class neighborhoods versus C and D class neighborhoods. If you find this video and the information in it helpful, subscribe below. One of the common questions investors always ask is what kind of property should they be buying? When I try to help people figure out what would be best for them, I usually break it down into, are you looking for an A-class neighborhood, a B-class neighborhood, a C-class neighborhood, or a D-class neighborhood? Each neighborhood is going to have their own strengths and weaknesses, and your decision is just going to be dependent on your personal strategy. An A-class neighborhood's typically going to be a higher price point and it's going to be a lower return. The pros of an A-class neighborhood is it's going to be a trendier neighborhood, more popular, it's going to have more upgrades, it's going to be newer construction, it's going to be the area where a lot of people are going to be interested in it. In Dayton specifically, we're talking about South Park, the Oregon District, downtown, for more of a family kind of environment, Centerville, Springboro, Miamisburg, Washington Township, anything that's more of the suburban area. A B-class neighborhood is going to be a step down. It's going to be someone who's still probably got a good bit of money to put towards rent. It's still going to be a pretty aggressive price point, but just not the top of the top. It's still probably going to be mostly white-collar neighborhoods, a lot of parts of Kettering, some parts of Centerville, 45420, 45410, different parts of East Dayton. Still pretty good conditions, some renovations, but a little bit more affordable for families. C-class neighborhoods are probably going to be where the majority of investors are going to put their money. C-class neighborhoods are going to be an affordable price point that gives you a pretty decent return. They're also going to be tenants who are more blue collar, but you can still find people to pass a background check. Their credit's probably going to be fair, and they can probably rent the properties without the use of Section 8 or any other kind of supplemental program. These buildings are going to be a little bit older. The Dayton properties, they are going to be built somewhere between 1910 and 1940. So there is going to be some maintenance issues somewhere down the line. You're probably going to be looking at older windows, buildings with no air conditioning, old wiring. You might have older furnaces. In these kinds of properties, you are going to have to put some money into them in the next 10 to 15 years, maybe more earlier depending on what the listing price is. D-class neighborhoods are going to be the biggest bang for your buck, but they're also going to be the highest risk. The D-class neighborhoods are going to be lower income. You might have people who don't pass background checks. They might be on Section 8, they might be on other supplemental programs, but typically you are going to get the biggest bang for your buck because the highest risk is going to give you the highest reward. The properties are going to look about the same as the C-class neighborhood, but they might be in neighborhoods that are a little higher crime. And like I said, you might have tenants who have some issues with the background check. So if you're willing to take on those tenant risks, then you might make the most amount of money as far as the return goes with those properties. Which property somebody chooses to buy really just depends on their personal investment strategy. Someone who's farther away, who's out of state, they might want to get something that's a little safer. They're not here to personally vet the tenants themselves. They're going to be using a property management company. They might choose to be in more of a B or a C class neighborhood. Somebody who's very handy, who's going to be able to do the work themselves, who are vetting the properties themselves, they might look at more of a D-class neighborhood. Someone who's on an extreme budget, who's just trying to get their foot in the door, they might be in a C or a D-class budget because that's what they can afford, and that's fine. That's getting you in the door. Somebody who has more money to spend, who has a bigger budget, who's interested in getting equity down the line, they might look at an A-class neighborhood, and they might be going for the appreciation later. It really just depends on what your personal strategy is, how much money you have to spend, how long you're planning to hold the property, and what your personal finances look like. Thanks again for watching. Again, if you found this information useful, go ahead and subscribe below. I work with both the Dayton and the Cincinnati markets, and I primarily work with out-of-state investors. My contact information is below. If you're interested in investing in the Dayton or the Cincinnati area, give me a call. Thank you.